Yep. So for us, it's all about making impact for everyone that's involved. And at the same time, because we make impact, we make income as well for ourselves and our passive investors.
Yeah. Now, that's just huge. I love that. So talk to me, what does the future look like for you girls? It sounds incredible. It's just beginning, really, if you think about it. So you guys are on to...
Hello, you're listening to Ready, Set, Go Real Estate Investing Podcast, presented by Brandon Elliott. This show will be going over all aspects of real estate investing and is intended to educate, motivate, and prepare you to take action on your first or next real estate investment. For more information, please visit BrandonElliottInvestments.com. Thank you for listening and enjoy.
Welcome back, everyone, to Ready, Set, Go Real Estate Investing Podcast. I am your host, Mr. Brandon Elliott. I am greeted here and blessed to have the Kitti sisters with us today. These guys are up in LA. They've been investing in real estate the last handful of years and doing some really big things with multifamily. You know, going after their bread and butter is 200 to 300 something doors. They like to focus on the Sun Belt area, but literally raising 40 to $80 million in real estate to be able to take down more territory, make an impact, and generational wealth for so many people. So I can't wait. Really just blessed to have you girls on with us today. So how we doing?
Oh, we're excited. Thank you so much for having us.
Yes.
So names of both.
Palmy.
I'm Nancy.
Palmy.
Nancy.
Okay, cool. Yep. And you guys are in LA. How did we get started with real estate? You went from fashion to some big real estate right now, which is awesome.
Yeah, I mean,
I'll have Palm say it.
So our store is unique, but not unique in a sense to other people. Like we were in the fashion business and we were doing really well until one day out of the blue, our biggest client shut down all their retail stores. And just overnight, 95% of our income just evaporated. So at that point, previous to that, we thought we were doing well, but we didn't realize that all our income were tied to this one company, with this one asset. And so once it went away without our, we had no control over their business. That immediately gave us this feeling of uncertainty. And really, we didn't know where we're going. We didn't have a direction. Our income was gone. And so we had to pivot really quickly.
Yes. So suddenly we left with no security, no plans, and no clue about our next step. Ironically, this crisis turned out to be the best thing that ever happened to us. This was our fresh start, right? Our chance to do things differently, to take back control of our time, our life, and of course, our freedom. And that's where multifamily apartment investing entered.
Yeah. So we didn't do multifamily from day one. What happened was, we heard about a conference, like a short 3-day conference that used to happen like a couple years ago. So we attended the conference and they were talking about, hey, flipping houses. And we live in Los Angeles. So we thought, well, we're from the fashion world. We have a decent aesthetic sense. So we're like HGTV. How hard can it be? So we jumped into trying to figure out single family flips. And we did well. Market condition definitely helped for sure. But also, I think we had an eye for it. The problem with flipping houses for the people who are experiencing this, contractors are always an issue. One day they're great. The next property, literally the same crew can be not so great anymore.
And unreliable.
They have like an expiration date. That's what we say. And so
it's like milk in the fridge. You got to be careful.
Seriously, you keep them there and then they're good. And one day, spoiled.
Yeah.
And I think because sometimes they're not specialized in certain area of construction.
Yeah.
So that's why they're good. And then where they're weak, they're just kind of like,
or they get distracted. Yeah. Like they may have taken on too many projects. They have different crew members. Like that was our experience. And the other part that was frustrating about it is that when we're in the fashion business, we really had leverage a lot of other people to do a lot of the nitty gritty, the mechanic work, as they say in E-Myth, right? But for us, when we got into flipping, it was all us. We spent like a month trying to source material at the beginning. We're the people,
or even trying to find the deal
or the contract.
Yeah.
Everything was us, from sourcing the deal to selling the deal, and that was too granular. So we were like, this isn't going to work for us long term. We discovered through like mentorship, hey, there's this thing called passive investing in multifamily apartments.
Yep.
Like, wow, what a novel idea. Regular people who never would be able to afford really nice, large apartment complexes now can have a piece of the action where you're kind of like, hey, let someone who's experienced run the boat. And so we did that. We invested passively immediately.
We got so addicted to it because, you know, like it's not only is scalable, but at the same time, it's also have a lot of tax benefit, which
For flipping houses, it totally makes
like
sense.
for us, it's like to save, you know, from paying Uncle Sam legally and ethically and morally, that's the best thing. So that's how we got into multifamily apartment investing.
Yeah.
I love it. What year was that you decided to, like, what year was it that the fashion industry just stopped for you guys?
That was 2017, and we got started in multifamily towards like Q3 of 2018.
Okay, awesome. And so what was the feeling like, you know, from going from the fashion space to like, oh shoot, it's just dried up, it stopped right away. Now what? You know, I'm sure that was probably stressful. And, you know, what were you guys thinking? What was going through your minds?
I think, as we mentioned earlier, like at that time, because our income is tied to one source of income, so we were left with like no security, right? Like the sense of like, and we have no plan, and we really have no clue what's next for us. And we were really fortunate because we didn't sit too long, and we didn't let it like, you know, like things happen to us. We actually view things happen for us, and then we start to like do deep research and thinking, okay, what else we can do that is not like, that doesn't take a long runway, that regular people like us could participate and have a upside.
Yeah. The other thing, Brandon, that like we realized at the time was like, we were approaching this game the wrong way, you know, the financial game the wrong way, because previous to this in the fashion world, the terms were dictated to us. They told us what price we can charge. They told us what we have to produce, how much we get to make for each piece of garment that we produce in the fashion world. And that left us super vulnerable. Even though we knew that, hey, this isn't going to last forever, we didn't have a way out. And when we got into the multifamily apartment space, it was the first time that we're like, hey, this is actually a fair system.
Yeah.
The purchase price is open to everyone. There's no backdoor deals that someone else can make. It's like, it's fair game. This is the price I'm willing to pay. If you're willing to sell at this price, we'll make a deal. And that was the first time we've ever felt like, okay, so now we can have multiple stream of income coming in.
Yep. And then in regards to that, in multifamily apartments or any real estate, all you have to focus is actually finding a deal, finding the money, and operate it well.
Yeah.
It was really simple, like a simple business, right? Just 3 simple things to do.
Yeah, I think a lot of people out there overcomplicate real estate. And yes, there could be many mistakes or things that you don't initially see. So you want to get prepared for that, right? But it's as simple as like buy a good deal, improve it or like stabilize it, make it well, and then sell it, or what's the end game to it. And so the cool part in between all that is you can get cash flow, you can get tax benefits, you can get appreciation, you can help out a lot of people. Like it's just an incredible win-win, and it feels really good. So in the fashion space before, what were you girls making prior in that space versus like now? We don't need to go into the numbers, but I can imagine it's a little bit more.
Well, I mean, like that at that time, we were producing clothing for like some of the major fashion brands, global brands, and we were doing a lot of units. And so income was good. It was actually really, really good. But the problem is if we stopped working, as evident by what happened, there's no more income stream that came in. Yep. With multifamily, the cool uniqueness of it, Brandon, is like not only do we make money today as we buy deals, as we operate the deals, but it also sets it up so that it's almost like our personal retirement account. Yeah. Because there's a big portion of it, the equity, that is like, hey, you don't get it today. It's like you get it, and it's going to become double what you had initially, received, right? Like from the equity side. So it's like, it sets you up so that we're not burning money like left and right as we used to. Like, oh, come in, and it's like it flows right out. What else can I buy? Now it's like, no, it's gonna sit there in a bowl ready to go.
I love that. It's so good. And I think that's why a lot of people need to focus on multiple sources, right? And having more control over your destiny instead of putting like that's your retirement plan right there, right? Versus a lot of people only have that one stream of income from relying on somebody else. Their employer and so forth. And that's a scary position to put yourself in when you don't know what's going to happen. And it's really in their is it in their best interest what you're doing? It's a scary position. So when you take a little bit of ownership and realize like, hey, this is all mine, then it can really set you up for more success. Nancy, you mentioned you were talking a little bit about just like mindset behind it. Like obviously you girls have an incredible, just strong, bulletproof mindset here that I believe that, and that is one of my blessings that I get to soak up so many successful people like yourselves, that it's no surprise that people work on their mindset and they have a positive mindset when they are doing big things like you guys are doing, because it's not easy. Let's face it, it's not easy, but with the right mindset, you're willing to put in the work and overcome the obstacles and all the things that life throws at you and still become very successful at it. So I'm just curious, for anybody that may be going through tough times out there, identifying you guys aren't perfect and none of us are, but what are some of the things that you guys have done in the past to really build upon a strong mindset foundation to be able to get to where you guys are today? Has there been influence of friends, family members, or just like books? You drop, the E-Myth a little bit. So things like that can really make a more solidified individual, that foundation piece.
Palm, you want to take this? I mean, this is the thing that I think when you study the most successful people, and it doesn't have to be billionaires, it can be anyone that you see, what trait they have is that there's just persistence, like willingness to go, even though it's hard today. And like, if you create a certain pathway, the reason most people fail is because they quit too soon.
Yep. So true.
So like, if you already know, for us, for a fact, we know that real estate is the biggest wealth creator in the history of the world.
Yep.
By far.
Yeah.
Trillions of dollars. Trillions of dollars. Carve a path that you feel like this is what I'm comfortable doing, and don't quit until you get there. Pivot, adjust, correct course, right? Course correct. But don't give up.
Yep.
It doesn't work for you today doesn't mean it will not work for you.
That's so good.
And I think like for us, even to this day, today, every day, there's always new challenges that comes to us. But it's like, our approach is we will always be able to figure this out.
Yes.
And for us, I think what's really important for us is whatever we lack in our ability, we leverage, right?
Yeah.
And leverage could come in forms of other people's time, other people's tools, other people's talents, other people's money, especially in real estate. The biggest piece of leverage that you can ever use is other people's money, because a lot of these deals, like we have mentioned to you earlier, Brandon, that we buy like $77 million, $68 million, $40 million is not from our bank account, right?
You're not just sitting on that,
No. Not at all. It's right here in Palmettos.
Not at all, right? So we learn to leverage whatever we're missing. And real estate is the easiest path that everybody understands and that everybody loves. So we get to leverage them, their money, right? And at the same time, they get to leverage our expertise and our time and our resources.
I love that. Yeah, it's so good. It's definitely, real estate is like a team sport, especially when you're coming into raising $70, $80 million. It's a lot of capital. And it comes down to the know, like, and trust factor, and also just being presented with great opportunities that it's all written down on a piece of paper. Like, it's all very simplified, and you have backup plans, and they're really counting on the operator. So talk to me, as far as your education experience, did you guys, I know you said you did some flips in the past, and that was, how many flips did you guys do before jumping straight into some big, crazy multifamily?
Yeah,
so we just counted it.
So we were in flipping for 3 years, and we did eight.
Okay, cool.
Right.
Which was, for two people, don't recommend it. It was not like, it was not a fun time. It was
and the type of flip we do is not just like go in 2 weeks and rehab and go out. We actually like gut it down, like leave like a wall or like,
basically they're major renovations.
Yeah.
To the studs basically, and then redoing everything, and
not recommended.
Yeah.
Especially for people who didn't really know what they were doing. It was the system was not here yet, let's say.
So talk to me. Now you jumped into multifamily after 3 years of doing that, and why multifamily, and what was the first deal? Like, what did that look like?
Yeah. So why multifamily? Like we mentioned earlier, we love to scale, and coming from business world, we like things that scale pretty much like fast, right? Like like when we mentioned, like when we do flipping, it's like we could only do 1 or 2 or even 3 flip it at the same time. But multifamily, when you buy it, you can buy like 200 doors, 300 doors, and that's leveraging again, right?
And the cool part is like we can leverage other people's experience. When we first started on our very first deal, we raised money. We went into the deal and we told everyone that we were raising money from. Like, this is our very first multifamily deal.
Yeah.
But it's not our partner's first deal, and it's not our lender's first deal, not our property management team's first deal. And that's why when you said this is a team sport, I don't know any other field that allows newer people to come in and have such immediate success.
Yep.
Because you're not programming something. You're not required to know any coding or engineering. It's like you do your one task really, really well, and then you can get in the door. So for our first deal that I had mentioned, it was in Phoenix, Arizona.
Okay.
At that time, it wasn't super hot yet. And so we had a game plan on how to talk to investors. We didn't know how at the time, but we got through. We sold the property in 27 and a half months and did like a 3x multiple on that deal.
Wow.
So it was a really good first experience for a lot of people that invested with us at the beginning.
Yep. And our first deal, we raised $3.9 million.
Yeah.
So it's considered a really small raise for us now.
Yeah. And so, like, what was your side of, I wouldn't say the bargain, but like, what did you guys have to bring to the table to make it? Were you guys finding the deal? Were you negotiating it? Were you working with contractors? Like, because like we said, it's a team sport. So what were you two doing?
Yeah. So like, actually, when we first got started in multifamily, we thought that our value was underwriting deals because we are like, okay, we know business and I think it's easy to underwrite deals. But oh my God.
You learned.
Boy, like we're like, no, we don't have market intelligence. We can't walk like door by door. It's actually really hard to partner with people who are experienced and you just bringing deals because they're like, well, I don't know your underwriting. Like, I don't know your assumption. I don't know your this, then that. So for us, we found out quickly that bringing deals to experienced people
wasn't going to be the path.
Going to be the path. And how we got invited to team was actually we met someone and they're like, oh, can you raise X amount of dollar? And can you help us with investor relation? And of course, us being so like, enthusiastic about multifamily, we're like, yes, but in hindsight, and we're like, no, but behind the scene, we're like, oh my God, we have no idea how to raise money from people. We have no connection. Our list was super tiny. Who will invest with us, right?
Yeah.
The sense of a second panic in life came. Is like, how are we going to do this?
Yeah. It was like, today, looking back, the revelation is like, you don't have to do anything different. Like, there's 5 major buckets to multifamily.
Okay.
Sourcing the deal, relationship with brokers, being the human capital, asset managing, and being the balance sheet person.
Sure.
When you're new, if we were to start over today, and for anyone who's listening who's new,
Yes.
we recommend that you come in as the person who's the human capital, who's raising money. By rule, by law, you cannot only raise capital, you have to perform other tasks, but you can decide that. Right. So they're not saying just only capital raising, but that can be a function. And the reason we say that this is the easiest one is you don't have to know the market inside and out. You don't have to know, you don't already have years of experience with a broker to build a relationship. You don't have to live in the city that you're buying. We bought in Phoenix. We live in Los Angeles. You don't have to have a huge balance sheet. If you can do this one skill, you can get into, even today, I guarantee you, if you can raise enough money, you can get into almost any deal you want. Because most people, I would say 90% of GPs do not have the requisite capability to raise a lot of money on their own. They don't know how. And so if you're the person who can come in and fill that gap, that's where you ask, like, what's in it for them?
Yeah.
It's always like, because normally the position is like, oh, I'm like looking up, like, please, experienced people help me.
Yeah.
But in this scenario, now it's repositioned.
Well, you become the experience because you're the one who can fund the money, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
actually become an expert
Super valuable.
that they're seeking.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And it's so disappointing when at the end of the day, it's like there's a team that have found a great location, a great deal. They negotiated a great price. And it's like, now they can't come up with the capital. Like, so when they can partner up with amazing people like you that can actually get out there, get the word out there, that's all you're doing. You're giving opportunities to people. They don't, you're not going around strong arming people to like, hey, get in my deal, right? Yeah. you're giving them, you're presenting an opportunity. They get to participate with you, and then it's a win-win scenario, right? So that's incredible. I truly love it. So you guys are focusing more on syndications, and what syndication model do you guys focus on?
It's the simplest one. No waterfalls, it's simple split. Right now, typically it's like 80-20 split.
80-20.
Yeah, nothing crazy.
And the reason is because we feel that if it's hard for investors to understand, it would be harder for them to wire us their money.
Yeah.
So for us, like, make it simple and make it like so
Irresistible.
that they're like, okay, this makes sense to me.
That there would be no other logical conclusion that they can come after listening to our webinar than to wire us the money, because there's no other alternative.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, 80 is pretty darn good, right? So that's a good spot for all the investors.
Of course, right? Like passive investor, they're not picking up hammers, they're not, lifting the paintbrush. They're just, finding the people who they can trust and grow with them.
That's so good. I love it. So the locations, talk to me about locations and other members that are on the team that you guys utilize to actually source deals.
Yeah,
You guys are in the Sun Belt area, right? What does that mean exactly for anybody out there that doesn't know?
Yeah, so basically the Sun Belt is like sort of like the smiley part of the U.S. If we study demographics, you'll know that net migration is going towards the south. It's inward and south. So like from the two coasts, it's coming in slightly and then south. And it's for various reasons, but a lot of it is affordability, and like standard of living is totally different. And so when you wherever you want to invest, single family, rental, short-term rental, whatever, the most important part is you have to understand the demographics and the economic drivers in that local market. Do not invest in markets that has like a one-trick pony town, a military base, or like there's a town that only has one factory. Because what happens if that factory is suffering financially or goes out of business? Then that main economic driver is no longer there. So for us, the Sunbelt markets where it has a robust type of industries, financial sector, healthcare, technology, manufacturing, education, plethora of other type of businesses where, hey, you had a COVID-19 pandemic, but there's businesses that still has to operate, or you have an economic recession, but hey, healthcare still needs to run, or manufacturing still needs to happen. So if one industry, it's like you stack your odds at a table with a whole bunch of chairs. Like if you had to take a couple shares off, that table is still stable enough.
I love that. That's so good. And then, so as far as some of the team members, how many people are on the team now currently?
So basically, we have in-house analysts, right? And then we have asset manager. And then luckily, because multifamily is a really, like, we don't have to have so many people. We can be really lean and still be really effective and efficient. So for us, it's like a 7-people team.
That's so good. I love it. And then, so deal flow, how many deals are you guys analyzing on a regular basis? And how, is there a certain goal that you want to take down per year, or what does that look like? You obviously don't want to force things.
Yeah. No, that's
like
a really good question.
I know you probably heard of rule of 100, but for us, that doesn't apply in multifamily. We don't have to underwrite like hundreds of deals to get one deal. Like for us, when we're like targeting a deal, due to our track record, like we probably looking at like just a few deals, and then we just call the broker and say, hey, we are interested in this deal. Can we talk more about it?
So like, aside from one deal, every deal we've gotten has been on the market. So brokers have like sent out these deals to the public. The key thing is like, when you're really laser focused on what type of assets you want to buy, it helps eliminate like 95% of the time suck. Why underwrite deals that you're not ever going to buy? Unless you're practicing at the beginning, don't do that. It's going to really demoralize you when you're like, oh, it's a lot of work to underwrite deals. And so for us,
so every time you make an offer, we
want to buy this deal, and we're pretty sure that at least we're going to be top 3. Yep.
That's so good.
Due to now track record that we didn't have at the beginning, but we were able to leverage. When we're talking to brokers, they can confidently support us as potential buyers to the sellers. And that's what's happened. We've been on the last 2 deals, we were not the highest offer.
Yeah.
But the broker advocated for us because they knew our track record. The most important thing brokers want is execution certainty.
Yeah, they just want to know that you can perform. So if you can sell that idea to them that you are a low risk, you will perform, you're not going to waste anybody's time. Like, you want to close on this, you want to make it a win-win, and that you're going to stick to your guns and actually make it happen, then it can bring that peace of mind to them, and then they want to actually work with you, right?
Yeah,
But
having been on the sell side, I completely yes, that's all we want.
Yeah, you just want peace, right? You don't want all the headache.
We want that email from the escrow. Congratulations, you've closed.
Yeah,
wire me the money. Yep.
But we didn't always have these track record, right? So we started slow, leveraging other people, joining forces, and eventually you just build your name for yourself, knowing that if you keep on compounding the good, you will build a name, a good reputation.
Yeah, that's so good. Palmy, you were just mentioning a moment ago of like, be very clear on what you want, and 96% of it will kind of just like get out of the way, which is great. I feel like that's a big thing out there, that a lot of investors that are kind of coming up that may just be starting out, they may make that mistake of not being very clear and intentional with exactly their criteria, right? They're more like open. And somebody that's open, that's, they think that they can serve everybody, or that they, I can take down any type of real estate deal. You're not going to take down any, because they're all going to confuse you. So how did you guys get clear on exactly the criteria of what you're looking for, year, location, certain numbers? And then if you have any tips or tricks of like what you guys look for, I would love to hear it for some of the listeners.
Yeah.
And selfishly for myself as well.
So when we first started, even if our team had experience, it wasn't as much as we have today. So we were buying C-class assets.
Okay.
In today's environment, we've made a shift for the past 3 years already, since like around the COVID time, to not buying C assets, while other people were still advocating and teaching that. The reason why we felt C wasn't ideal for us, because it was so hard to manage. It was very, very tough.
Oh yeah.
No, this is no joke. Property manager called. Someone just burned my car. It's like in front of the leasing office. Someone burnt it. It's burnt.
Oh my God.
She gets into a fight with the tenants. We had to hire an armed security guard to be with her 24/7.
Oh my God.
Hire armed patrol. It was not easy.
She was really pissing people off. That's wild.
Yeah. And you know what happened? She quit, and we were freaking out. And this was a side note. When she quit, we all freaked out. Like, oh no, who's going to do this? Yeah. The next person was way better.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
No problem with anyone. Everyone loved her. We got great reviews on Google. So it was a interpersonal relationship issue.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So we actually we have to shift our acquisition strategy, right? From buying a C class to now buying A class, which is anything that's like 2000
and newer,
2020 and newer, right?
2000 like mid 2000s and newer.
Yep.
Okay.
And that is through our experience, because like Palm said earlier, we've been through a lot. C class, honestly,
and defer maintenance and repair issues.
Right. And also like the demographic, right? Like the people. And through our experience, we realized that, oh my God, like A class, if you buy in the right market where there's like many economic drivers, is actually way easier to hit our projection, and also way easier to manage, and we have a good night's sleep.
Yeah.
I like that. I like good night sleeps. That sounds nice. So
you don't want to. And on top of that, when you buy A class property, you get to hire A class player. Yeah. And the good thing here is that payment is not out from our pocket. It's the A class building is paying for the A class player.
Yep.
So we get to acquire like talents that's like we otherwise
great talents
wouldn't be able to get them, right?
That makes sense. So talk to me about some of your guys' strategy, because going after A-class type of projects in A-class areas, does that, a lot of multifamily specifically, I mean, let's be real, all types of real estate in general, it's all about value add. If you can't get natural appreciation, you want to force the appreciation by doing, full modern remodels and so forth, and or amenities when it comes down to big multifamily, adding a gym or a work area, whatever it may be. So what are you guys doing to actually force those numbers up so that you can just get a better stabilized type of position where it is worth a heck of a lot more?
This is a really great question, actually. I think you're the first person who's asked us, so that's really good. So I think there's two types of value add: when you physically change something on the property, or when you manage the property better.
Yes.
Because those, it's not just one or the other. So for large multi, for instance, like if you can buy a property where you see that it's under market rent, and you see that there's still a runway for growth, it's actually cheaper for you, because instead of having to spend money on renovating, and we know today renovation cost is like, it maybe used to be $4,000 a couple of years ago. It's probably like almost $10,000 now per unit.
Yeah. It's crazy, isn't it?
Inflation, labor cost, all that stuff, right? So
for everything,
for everything. So if you can, there are still properties that you can buy today where you see that rent growth is still strong. Today, like our Arkansas property, I think is at like an 8% year-over-year increase rent growth. Even now, when we bought it, it was like 12. But of course, like, you know, that's like it's still great, right? 8%. Nowhere else in the country you can get that. The other part is like, so for instance, like A-class property, the cool thing about it is we have these these initiation that we do with the properties. I forgot the exact term, but basically like we have like these events that we host. In Arkansas, apparently there's this thing called the goat yoga, like GOAT, like actual goats come out to the property. I don't really.
Let's go. Yeah, why not?
They told me don't judge. It's popular. Okay, we're gonna have a hula hoop pool party this week. So there's activation. That's the word. We have ability to do a lot more tenant activation events. Because we can afford it. So there's a whole bunch of cool stuff that happens on the property to make our property not only just desirable because of the physical condition, but because people love living here. It's fun.
Yeah. On top of that, like for us, like all these amenities attract great client, right? Great tenants, because these people are willing to pay premium on things that they feel like it and they want it. Like, you know, like Pommy said, right? We have a gym, like we have a great gym. On top of that, we actually have instructor that comes and actually, you know, instructor aerobic classes. Yeah.
I love that. And so all those extra things, because people don't expect it. They don't, I think we still haven't got to a standard of feeling entitled to that just yet. But eventually you guys are spoiling people right now, but that is great. That's what makes people feel comfortable and feel like, yeah, I will pay the top dollar because look at all these cool things that we're doing. Like, that's awesome.
That's exactly. So every time when there's a lease renewal and we bump up the price, they're willing to sign it because they're like, this makes total sense.
Yeah, I love it. So talk to me when it comes down to vacancy, when you typically buy versus where you like to get it stabilized to, where do you guys find yourself typically on percentage wise?
I think on average, if it's a B class, like we still have a couple C class. So for C class, economic vacancy wise, I think anywhere between 8 to 10%, which means the unit may be physically occupied, but someone's not paying rent. So for example, if you have 100 units and 10 people are not paying rent, but they're living in your units, that's considered 10% economic vacancy. I think that is a reasonable amount. For A class, I think it's closer to like 8%. We still give ourselves that cushion while, like, for instance, we have a C class property in Atlanta and we have like 2 delinquents. That's it, like 2 out of 244, which is amazing right now. And it's like maybe $8,000. So that's a very small amount, though we project higher, right? So
yeah, as far as vacancies as well, do you want to get to a place where you're around like 3%, or is that too rich? Yeah,
that's
the rents would the rents would be too low at that point. You need to crank it up a bit, you know, so get down.
It's a teeter totter, whatever.
Yeah, like, a little seesaw.
Seesaw, that's what I was thinking.
You have to balance it. So it's like, there was a time when one property had like 100% occupancy and we were like, well, that's too high.
That is way too
We're too cheap. We're not high. Drop it. So there's a balancing act. If we're around one property management team, so we have third-party property management team, and they're like, they want to be between 92 to 93%.
Yeah. Okay, cool. And so this is third party. Yes. So you're not bringing them on internally.
No. So we hired third party. We hired third party for specific locations because they have the market insight. building a property management team, the property management business itself is not like a lucrative business.
It's not sexy. It's not sexy, ladies and gentlemen.
No. And it will be like us doing flipping. Like that. That's not the world we want to be in. So hire, and this is the tip for people who are getting started. Like, make sure you match the profile of the property management company with the property. If they handle C-class, hire C-class property management. If you're buying C, hire a C. If you're buying A, hire an A team. Like Nan said, the A player would know how to, like, our apartment in Northwest Arkansas, that's pretty much like a luxury hotel experience.
Oh, yeah.
So the tenants, we consider them like clientele. So how we treat them is different. C-class, you need to be able to be tough when they don't pay rent, but sympathetic when, you know, they come in. Like, all those nuances. Like, you don't want to have a car burn it in front of you.
You don't want to get your car torched. So it's really impressive. You guys are doing incredible things right now. So when it comes down to, you know, outsourcing the property management, are they, obviously they're getting a good chunk of change. Are they, when it comes down to that many doors, that's a lot of doors. Are they assigning a couple people in person to be at the location that, like, it's just for you guys, right? Okay. But they have all the tools and
the softwares.
All, you know, the SOPs in place.
Yes, that's what we always encourage. Like, if you want to truly scale, you want to buy something that is at least 65 unit and above, so that the property can afford a full-time team.
Afford it. Yes, that's that's a very big thing. I always like to say, like, 80 and above. It really puts you in a a better category that you can afford it. Otherwise, if you can't afford it, then you start dealing with, like, worse quality. You start, you know, you find yourself getting your car burned, and that's scary.
So another tip for people is, number one is make sure your leasing team answers the phone. It sounds super simple, sounds super basic, right? But, like, imagine if someone's calling, they're going to shop like 3 or 4 properties. While they should probably put more time and effort, they're probably going to go to the one that answers the call.
Whatever's easiest.
Have availability to touring on the weekends. If you're doing C-class properties, most of these people can't get time off during the week to go shopping for an apartment.
True. That's good. That's really good.
So make sure that, hey, we're available. We're open 7 days a week. Come in.
Yeah. It's like the simple little things in life that a lot of people start overcomplicating and forgetting about. It's like, just take it back down to basics because it can really serve and help out so many more people. I love that. So I think one of the big things that I'm taking away here, selfishly, is that you guys just hire on top high-level quality. You pay the premium because it's worth it and it's less headache. You sleep like a baby, meaning that all of your tenants are sleeping like babies as well. And you guys are over-delivering for everybody involved, making it a complete win-win scenario across the board, which I love. That's what it's about.
Yep. So for us, it's all about making impact for everyone that's involved. And at the same time, because we make impact, we make income as well for ourselves and our passive investors.
Yeah. Now, that's just huge. I love that. So talk to me, what does the future look like for you girls? It sounds incredible. It's just beginning, really, if you think about it. So you guys are on to amazing things. I can almost guarantee it. What's the next steps? What's the next projects?
Yeah. So actually, the current project we've been working on for a few months now, we're doing also built to rent, which is a development project where we're turning, like, dirt into gold. So we're in the middle of a 118 townhome construction. And so that's the new phase. We'll still opportunistically look to buy existing buildings, but I mean, true value is buying raw land and convert it into a neighborhood, build the entire neighborhood, right? In the past, people used to build communities and they'll sell them. So build to sell. But why build to sell when you know that and statistics just came out, right? That the affordability gap between home ownership and affordability is, like, at its largest. People are not going to be able to afford to buy homes in this country going forward. Like, if you can think back, the home that your parents bought to the home that you can afford, most people can't buy that same home that they grew up in. San Diego. Like almost $1 million a home. Like, it's crazy. Probably without AC.
I just bought a beat up property for $1.2 million just yesterday. So it's like, it's crazy. Yeah. Well, I don't know.
We'll chicken on you.
Yeah. But it's one of those things. It's like, so many people are getting priced out. And so it's kind of sad to see, but it's good that high-level investors like yourself that are focusing on making the experience for the tenants still first class and really an amazing experience if they can't afford to buy their own. own, you guys can make something incredible that is still home to them, which is awesome.
Yes.
I love that.
It's like for us, like just the thought of like putting it on the amenities at our build to rent is actually based on what the tenants would need, what they would need, and what like, you know, the experience we want them to enjoy.
We just had a call and we were talking to our lender about what amenities changes we made. So we added 2 pickleball courts. We added 2 dog grooming stations.
Yeah.
We put in electric EV outlets in every single attached garage.
Wow. Yeah.
And those were not in the original plans, but I was like, wait a minute, why are we not doing this?
Those were not cheap, I'm sure of it. Yeah.
But all of those, even the lender was like, wow, like none of all those things they're not, and then like when you ask like value add, like dollar to dollar, it's not that much, right? And maybe you can charge $50 more to have a EV outlet or something, but it's not massive. But the convenience for someone to live in this house now, this townhome, where it's a brand new house. Her friend just bought a Mercedes. I think her payment is $1,400 a month. I don't know what it is. It's an SUV type. Her husband goes out every night for 30 minutes to go
charge it. Oh my God. I know so many people that do exactly that same thing. I'm like, you got to set it up at your house. If you're going to go electric, set it up at your house, please.
So that's what we're doing.
So that's why we're enjoying building build to rent, because it's not just about making money. It's actually about thinking and working backward on what the tenant needs and what they desire.
Give them a home. Them.
Yeah, that is so good. I love that. I love where your guys' hearts are at and really thinking about the end user in mind to really set them up for the most like blessings for them.
Yep.
Talk to me, what do you think about the market? A lot of people are kind of bailing out of multifamily, or it's overpriced, or they're stuck in some tough situations from the last couple of years. One of the syndications that I was a part of, you know, it went through a capital call, and we're still blessed with the deal, but it's still something that, you know, nobody likes going through a capital call. And it's one of those things. Nobody was expecting that the interest rates were going to just keep going like that. And so what are your thoughts about the market, the interest rates, the future? Nobody's got that crystal ball, so I won't hold you to it. But
I'm gonna give you a crystal ball though.
Yeah, give it to me. I love it.
So here's the thing. It's very interesting, right? When people invest in the stock market and it goes red, no one complains and says like, oh my God, what happened? It's like, they're like, oh yeah, that's part of the market.
Yeah.
But why is it when it comes to syndications, you expect to bat 100?
Yep.
It's weird. It's like most of the investors who come into multifamily should be accredited investors who understand the risk and reward. It's listed out on the disclosure form.
Yep.
But the thing is, like, for us, we view right now, if you're on the buy side, if you're coming into the market, this is the most exciting opportunity you have. There's been 5, I call it the 5 stages of multifamily grief. The first one was, no, I'm going to sell only when I make a 2x return or higher.
Yeah.
Past that, right?
This is like a seller's point.
Right? So the second one is, okay, I'll break even. Or I'll make a little bit of profit, right? Second one. Third one, I'll break even.
Yeah.
Fourth one is, I'll take a little haircut.
Yeah.
Today, you see how much loan is maturity. I think it's like $59 billion of loans is going to mature in 2024 alone.
Yep.
Now we're talking steeper discount, 30-40% discount. Ultimately, their goal now is to preserve their investors' capital as much as possible.
Yeah.
Foreclosure.
So it will be time for people like us who see this as an opportunity, right? Not as something where, hey, we're going to stay on the sideline and wait till, you know, like
wait for it to go back up so that we complain again. We can't afford it. It's overpriced.
I think we always say we love discount, right? Like when there's a good discount on Amazon, like Amazon Prime Day, we'll always go in and buy something. But when real estate is at the discount, we always question, why do people scare of investing when it's at a steep discount, like Palm said?
Yeah, and think about it. Like, imagine, okay, our friend just bought a multifamily apartment. This was built in 2016. The original buyer, the seller, bought it for $104 million. Okay. 2014. He's selling it today for $80 million. He bought it 114, selling for 80.
My God.
And it's practically new, right? So what it means is he's willing to take a loss because that specific story is that the loan is maturing and the fund is maturing. So they had like a double, they had to leave.
So it's a loss for the seller.
It's a loss for the seller.
The win for the buyer.
Our friend who's buying it, he already...
And his investors.
So
there's always two sides to the coin, right?
Yeah.
So if you learn how to if you get educated, if you know what you're doing, if you have a internal investment criteria, your acquisition thesis, and you just laser focus on acquiring great asset, not just because you want to acquire, but because it's truly going to make money for you and your investor.
Yes.
And you put on you stack up a good loan, you're pretty much guaranteed that you will probably make money.
Yeah. If you have the right loan, real estate will always go up in value. Just a matter of time.
That's so good. Yeah. And it's really just like having your backup plans, protecting yourself, not putting all your eggs in one basket, but really like doing your due diligence properly. You know, you can cherry pick these incredible deals when the bloody water gets out there. You guys can be, taking advantage of the discounts that's at our feet currently versus waiting for it to get worse or hoping, whatever it may be. So many people sleep on that stuff versus taking action today. So I love what you girls are doing. It is incredible. It's really exciting. And it's such a blessing to be able to see what you guys are doing out there. So anything else new kind of in the mix that we can keep an eye out, or how can the listeners actually reach out and connect with you girls?
Yeah. So guys, if you want to say goodbye to feeling stressed or scattered, or even last minute scramble to fund your real estate deal, well, listen up, because we're going to have an upcoming challenge where we're going to teach you guys how to raise more money so that you don't have to have sleepless night or like the thought of losing your deal, right? And these are for the people who are like stuck at raising just couple $100,000 and you want to raise
$1 million
or even $1 million, right? If you want to raise more than that, if you want to raise millions and like that's where big league player play, then come join our challenge.
Yeah, our 5-day Raise More Money challenge.
All you have to do is go to raisemoremoneychallenge.com. Again, it's raisemoremoneychallenge.com.
Yeah.
I love it. Raisemoremoneychallenge.com. Let's go.
Yep.
That's awesome. And when's that taking place?
Well, we always run it each quarter.
Cool. I love it. So anybody at any time, you can jump in, check out the next one. It's coming up. It's going to be very impactful. So I will be sure to take a look at that as well. And any other way that listeners can actually get a hold of you?
Yeah, I mean, look, we're on social media.
Follow our YouTube, the Kitti Sisters,
Kitti.
Yep. And then our Instagram account, the Kitti Sisters as well.
Yeah.
I love it. Well, Palmy, Nancy, I appreciate you girls. You guys are awesome. I'm just so excited and overwhelmed with all the coolness you guys are doing out there, and you're doing some big deals. So congratulations on all the success. You guys are amazing. Keep it up, and we'll have to have you back on in the future with more success to the profile and everything else. But thank you so much for jumping on. Anything that myself or the listeners could do to give back to you guys? You just gave an hour of your time.
I mean, like, if you guys found it impactful, just, drop us a DM, let us know, and then that'd be great. That's all we need.
I love it. Yeah. So guys, reach out to the Kitti Sisters. They are amazing. You're definitely going to want to network with them and check out their raisemoremoney.com challenge. That would be incredible. It will definitely help out in many ways so that you can learn how to get millions of dollars, be able to build up millions of dollars, and be able to make a bigger impact on your real estate deals. If you guys want to get a hold of me, you can always do so on Instagram. It is Credit Counsel Elite, or my personal on Instagram, it's Brandon Elliott Investments. Otherwise, check out our website, creditcounselelite.com. That's www.creditcounselelite.com, where we're teaching business owners just like you how to be able to get up to $500,000 in the next 30 to 90 days at 0% interest. That's 2, 3, 4, even $500,000 in the next 30 to 90 days at 0% interest. Check out our video on there. It's short, sweet, straight to the punch, 10 minutes. That will explain more about what the heck I'm talking about and how it could better serve you. Afterwards, you'll have a bunch of questions. That's okay. You can jump on a quick call with me or our team to go over your situation, your goals, where you're trying to go, and we'll give you the guidance on how to get there. Otherwise, we'll give you 10 free banks on how to get $50K from each one. So I hope that blesses you. Really excited to see you on the next episode. So if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button to Ready, Set, Go Real Estate Investing Podcast. Do that right now and leave that 5-star review. Greatly appreciate all the love, all the support. You guys are amazing. Share this out to somebody that needs it, and we will catch you on the next episode. Till next time, God bless. Peace out.
This has been another episode of Ready, Set, Go Real Estate Investing Podcast, brought to you by Brandon Elliott. For more information, please visit BrandonElliottInvestments.com. Also, please don't forget to like, share, and leave a comment below. Thanks again for joining. Until next time, God bless.